Welcome back to the special series in CAT with Careers 360. In this video, I'm going to take you through the most overlooked but scoring topics in CAT. Now, when I'm using the word overlooked, that doesn't mean everybody overlooks it. But if you go through these topics in all the three sections, by the way, put in a little bit of an effort, you probably will be able to get that 40-45 marks, which is almost equivalent to 85 percentile. How do you do that? What are these topics? Let's go one by one. The topics that can guarantee marks almost. But before that, can I let you look at certain cutoffs? When you talk about cutoffs, whether it is IIM, Lucknow, of course, the Ahmedabads and the Calcuttas and the Bangalores of the world, all of them right now look at 85 percentile as the maximum cutoff. Some of them at 75, 80 also. But let's look at the worst case scenario, 85 percentile in each section. So for that matter, verbal ability, if you can get 20 marks, you will get an 85 percentile. Data interpretation, logical reasoning, 18 marks, 85 percentile. 15 marks in quant, 85 percentile. Now the point is, this is for approximately CAT 2024. Chances are that it will be either less or slightly more. My bet is it's going to be only less as far as the subsequent CATs are concerned, and many CATs in the previous years also, the cutoffs were much less than this. Now, if I need to get 20 marks, how many questions do I need to answer? 7 in verbal. Data interpretation, 6. Or quant, 5 questions and you will get that 15 marks. So are there topics which can guarantee some of these marks and or more? Let's take you through each of these 3 sections. When it comes to verbal and reading comprehension, I'm talking about all these things. I would say in verbal ability, that is one topic or the one type of questions which are really easy to score, according to me at least, and I'm sure a little bit of a practice will get you there, is para summary, a paragraph summary. A long paragraph is given to you and 4 choices are given to you, which will ask you, where the question asks, what is the best summary of the paragraph passage given to you? Frankly, it is not difficult. The second type of question, well, I would say within reading comprehension is what is the main idea or the tone of the passage. In a way, both these are very nicely related to each other. And we'll tell you, after I kind of also introduce you to the other topics, how do you get marks in these 2 areas? A lot of, let's say, preparation is one thing, but practice is something I would expect you to do in these 2 areas to maximize your scores. Then, when you look at topics in data interpretation and or logical reasoning, while there are lots of topics, most students are afraid of certain types. One is networks, because they're all individual questions, routes, and games and tournaments. Games and tournaments, frankly speaking, if you really understand the types of games and tournaments that exist, you will be able to do much better than a lot of other people. So therefore, I think this is something which is the most overlooked topic by a vast majority of students. And I would like, if you were really serious about CAT, you will not miss this out. But when it comes to quant, everybody talks about arithmetic. And the reason is obvious. Arithmetic gives you almost 10 to 11 questions out of the 22 that come in that section. That's almost 50% of the marks. And hence, you can't ignore that. But in the process, a lot of them ignore what are the easy pickings in quant. I would say some of the easy pickings are indices, logarithms or logs, sequences and series. These 3 areas alone will give you something like 3-4 questions. And then there are averages. I won't say it is easy or difficult, sometimes easy, sometimes not. Polygons, quadrilaterals. polygons is a quadrilateral actually is a part of polygons, but I will kind of look at it differently because polygon is anything more than four-sided figure. In fact, more than three-sided itself probably is called one. Polygons, five-sided and more, quadrilaterals, you will find that whenever questions on polygons comes in or even quadrilaterals comes in, the questions are very, very easy. And last, of course, mensuration, area and volume. These are typically formula-based questions. If you are aware of them and solve, let's say, 10 questions each in, let's say, solids, like where you talk cuboids or cones or cylinders as such, or spheres for that matter. These are the four areas in mensuration, areas and volumes. If you understand, chances are very, very high that you will get the 3 marks. One question, remember. So when I'm using the word and this particular video, I want to focus on where you could score more marks, not from the traditional ones. I'll start with the first verbal RC area where I said 2 topics, para summary or 2 types of questions, para summary and the main idea of the passage questions. There is a method in the madness. There is a very, according to me, very easy way in which you can identify the right answer. Okay, let me put it the other way around. Instead of identifying the right answer, the better way is to find out what is the wrong answer. Remember this, out of the 4 choices, if you can find out the 3 wrong answers, you got the first answer right. Correct? So let's look at it. How do you go about doing it? Now, first what should you do in these kind of questions? Therefore, I said, finding out the wrong answers is you eliminate choices. You eliminate choices. I will tell you how to eliminate them in a moment. What should you not do? What should you avoid? And that is like, for example, if it is a para summary, a lot of people want to get a perfect summary. You will never get a perfect summary. There will always be something missing or the other. Hence, looking for a perfect summary is a strict no. It's easier said than done when I say, hey, eliminate choices. How do I eliminate choices? For that, I have a 6-point plan for you. The first is, how do you eliminate wrong choices? The first one is that the sentence given to you, both in the main idea as well as the para summary, is actually negative. It's exactly reverse of what the passage is talking about. The passage is talking everything positive, whereas in the choice there is something negative, or the reverse. If the entire paragraph or the passage is looking at something negative, and what you have? A positive answer. So it is plain, simple wrong. Out of the 4 choices that are given to you, there is a very good chance that one of them is a completely false answer. Same thing about main idea also. You read the passage, there is a theme the passage goes through, there is a central idea the passage goes through, or some kind of an, let's put it this way, the story, that's the kind of, the story the entire passage goes through or the paragraph goes through, and what you have in one of the choices is exactly reverse of that choice. So, can you identify? I'm not saying for every question you will have this, but there is a very good chance that if you can find out what is not the answer, like the false answer or a negative answer or a opposite answer, you will get your answer. That is the first one of eliminating choices. Then, I call the second method of elimination actually is 4 different points. BANE, B-A-N-E. What is BANE? Broad, alien, narrow, or extreme. Any answer choice which is too broad or too extreme or too narrow or completely alien from what is actually being asked will not be the right answer. That's where you can easily eliminate. So, for example, in a para summary question, while if, let's say, the paragraph is about a certain idea, the summary kinds of encompasses all, everyone, everything, always, such kind of words when they're used. It's too broad. or narrow, it's only etc. kind of things words. So the whole idea, of course, it's very difficult to answer this, but when you look at the choices, why they are the wrong choices, you will find that the choices will be any one of these four ideas. The broad alien answer, which is not related to what the paragraph is given, and completely narrow or totally extreme. Frankly, is exactly the same things for the main idea of the passage. And the last one is the most dangerous option. It's almost a guarantee that it is correct. It is true. You know, the choice looks exactly what is given in the paragraph. It is almost similar what is there in the passage in a main idea of the passage question. It is true. But the question may be completely different. The choice may be completely something else. So even if it is a part of the answer, even if it is true, it does not encompass the entire paragraph which you want to have a summary of, or an entire passage for which you want a main idea of. Now, it is easier said than done, but when I look at it, when you write, let's say 10 mocks, each of these 10 mocks will have nothing less than 3 to 5 questions, 3 para summary and at least 1 to 2 main idea of the passage questions. That is 5. If you review 10 mocks, 50 questions you could have reviewed with this as the background, or as the way in which you will review is concerned. By the 10th mock, after having done 50 such questions of reviewing, you will be very, very good in making sure that you will get them right. And it's a very easy way to pick, easy pickings, I will call it, as far as marks are concerned. Then when you talk about games and tournaments, I said networks, routes, each of these are individual questions. The problem is, even if you don't know the entire set, even one question you get, that's good enough. 2 questions, great. 3 questions, wow. But games and tournaments is one area most people miss out. And the reason they miss out is because they are not able to categorize anything. Here is what I'm going to categorize. There are 2 types of games and games and tournament questions. The first one, I will call it the round robin tournament. If those of you have gone through Asia Cup, there is a round robin in Group A and round robin in Group B, then Super Fours, again then the round robin tournaments. So cricket, whether it's IPL or Asia Cup, hockey sometimes, football, all of these are clearly round robin tournaments. The second type is elimination tournaments. If I play with you, if I lose, I am out of the game. You continue in the next round. You lose, you get out. Whoever wins goes to the next round. It's like typically what happens in Wimbledon, for example, the tennis, chess, or badminton. They start with 32 players, 16 play 16, 16 lose, 16 win, go to the next round. 16 play 8 and 8 each, 8 lose, 8 go to the next round. 4 and 4 play, 4 lose, 4 go to the next round. 2 and 2 play, 2 lose, 2 go to the final, and the winner is there. So elimination tournaments, how many rounds are there, how many people are there, such kind of questions. The whole idea is, when you look at these games and tournament questions or data sets in this light, chances are very high that you will be able to immediately recognize the kind of question, the kind of type of questions, and therefore will be able to get the marks also right. And of course, apart from this, there are other things like other games which are there. Bulls and Bears is a game of words, etc. kind of things. But these are individual games where very, very little one can do. But if you can solve the round robin league and the elimination tournaments, I think your game is on. Then I'm going to talk about certain concepts. Why I say indices and logs are easy, or sequence and series, like the progressions are easy, is because there are very few formulae in them. And once you understand how to apply, chances are very, very good that you will get full 3 marks. Because remember, every question gives you 3 marks. Let's look at, for example, indices. a to the power 0 is 1. A to the power minus m is 1 by a to the power m, or a to the power m into a to the power n is a to the power m plus n, or something like that. If you look at it, if a to the power m is equal to a to the power n, the last one, if a to the power m is equal to a to the power n, then the two powers are equal because the bases are same. Now, if one can understand that these are the basic rules in indices, chances are that any question that you do, of course you need to solve 20, 30, 40 questions. If you can ideally solve from the original CAT papers, I would say, wow, great, welcome, do it. But once you do that, chances are that if there is an indices question in the CAT paper, you will be able to crack it. Similarly, logarithms. Log 1 is 0, log a to base a is 1, log a plus log b is log a into b. Log a to the power m is equal to m log a, or whatever. There are other, maybe 3-4 more formulas. But once you understand the formulae and the application of the formula, look at the last 20 years papers, not just the last 5 years, but the last 20-25 years CAT papers. Every CAT paper would have had at least one question, which means you would have got to some 30-40 questions. 30-40 questions of logs with just about 6-7 formulae. Any other question that comes in the CAT paper next, you should be able to solve it. So this is another area. These are two areas, at least I would say, most overlooked. Most people don't spend time on it because they are looking at arithmetic, but this is an easy picking question. Sequence and series, almost guaranteed to have one question or even two questions. Arithmetic progression, geometric progression, or arithmetico-geometric progression. The sum to n terms, the nth term, average term, sigma n square, sigma n cube, or a combination of two series that is given like that in the example, or progressions, geometric progression, nth term, the sum of nth term, or sum of infinity. You know, in GP, in geometric progression, you have a sum to infinity. The idea is, if you can solve, once again, like I said for indices and logs, if you can solve about 20-30 questions of the past CAT papers, you are ready for that. Here is what I believe why A, they are the most overlooked, but here B, why you should be able to focus on them. Para, summary and main idea. Minimum 3 questions if no main idea question comes in, but up to 5 questions. Worth 15 marks for the picking. Very good idea. Networks or roots, there could be 4 questions, or games and tournaments, there could be 4 questions. Together, at least 4 3s are 12 marks. One of them, if both come in, it's 24 marks. But at least 12 marks there for the picking. And when you look at quant, indices and logs, 2 to 3 questions, sequence n is 1 to 2 questions, averages maybe 1, polygons, quadrilaterals 1, mensuration 1, approximately 5 to 6 questions, maybe 6 questions, 18 marks worth. The total worth of all these topics, which are mostly overlooked by many students, is 45 marks. If you remember what I showed in the very first slide, 45 marks is clearly 85 plus percentile. This is not even mainstream, mind you. This is not even mainstream. Mainstream in terms of arithmetic in quant, or a logical reasoning, arrangement questions, or a data interpretation question in DILR, or for that matter, actually an RC question or an RC passage in the VA RC section. Don't miss the easy picking questions. Work on these. You have enough time for it, and you don't even have to spend too much of time. Here is what, before I sign off. CATVARC 360 is coming up with most scoring concepts in all the 3 sections, VARC, DILR and Quant. Or there are chapter-wise MCQs in the 3 areas. I'm sure this will kind of really double up your preparation for the CAT exam.